Welcome to the Lady Walker Show. I am Lady Walker. We have a Jim Dandy of a show coming at you. My guests are here to share with us about Jackson Voices, which is a project of the Clarion Ledger as well as the Maynard Institute. Welcome to the show, Shelia Byrd, who is the coordinator, and Darian Spann, who is one of the community bloggers. Thanks a trio, y'all, for coming out.
Well, thank you for having us.
After, being in touch and trying to see when was a good day to get you in and all of that. But after all, it is so nice meeting both of you.
We're happy to be here.
Well, Shelia, I am going to start with you. Just because we are going to talk about Jackson Voices during the second segment. But first, I want the audience to get a chance to really know who Shelia is and then who Darian is.
I'm a former Associated Press reporter. I was a reporter for the AP for 17 years, and I covered everything from health to education to civil rights, poverty issues, and I guess it was my last 5 or 6 years, I was covering the legislature and state government.
You are not originally from Mississippi.
I'm not, but I'm just from next door, which
next
is Louisiana.
Next door. What are we looking at, about 2 hours away?
It's about 3 hours from here.
3 hours?
A little town called Winfield, Louisiana.
Winfield. And you got involved in writing?
Well,
communication, because that was your major, right?
Right. Actually, going a little bit off subject, I started out as a nursing major, but I always, yes, but I always wrote when I was growing up. I always wrote short stories and poetry all the time, and so one day I just kind of meandered over to the campus newspaper, the Grambling Night, and I told the news editor there that I might want to write a story, and by the time I left Grambling, I was the editor of the newspaper.
Wow.
So
that sounds pretty interesting.
And I ended up interning for the Associated Press while I was with AP. I also interned at some Gannett newspapers as well, and I interned at a paper in Florida. And I thought that was my calling because I wanted to quash stereotypes. I didn't like the way that minority groups and other demographics were portrayed in the media.
And that's great.
Right. So I wanted to be able to tell the other side of the story, and that's how I ended up becoming a journalist.
Now, when you talk about the AP, I think a lot of news people get some of their information from the AP.
Sure. I mean, it's a worldwide organization. Here in Mississippi, we had they have, because I'm no longer with the Associated Press, but they have a Jackson Bureau that serves the entire state.
You are with the Clarion?
No, right now I am actually an independent contractor.
Oh, okay.
And so I am coordinating this project for the Clarion Ledger.
Jackson Voices.
And Maynard Institute, exactly.
All right. Well, Darian, let's just cruise on over to you. I just found out that you are a teacher.
Yes. I've been teaching for 8 years. I teach high school English at Murrah High here in the city. I am from Jackson. I'm a graduate of Provine High, and that kind of twisted at Murrah because Provine is our rivalry. So kind of use that to get the kids enthused about whenever we have to play them in a game. But like I said, I'm from Jackson. I received an undergrad in English from Belhaven, and I have 2 graduate degrees from Mississippi College, and currently I am working on a doctorate in ed leadership. So hopefully one day I'll become a school administrator.
Oh, great. I heard that. You are really looking up there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Also, I work heavily with our Teachers Association. So I am usually the voice at the school among the teachers, and whenever there's some type of issue that we might need to talk with the administrators about, so I'm usually the one that they come to. I also, through that, serve on the mayor's education committee. Our task was to come up with some standards for school board nominees, and so we did that, and so the mayor uses those to kind of select school board.
Now, you are, from the sound of it, you are really busy.
I am.
Busy as a bee, okay? So why did you participate in Jackson Voices?
Well, also this is one of the kids' terms, slick, which means on the sly. I always wanted to kind of be a writer. at one point in undergrad, I did work behind the TV station at Jackson State when I was there, and so I kind of wanted to do some writing kind of on the slit, so this kind of helps me to kind of do that.
Oh, you went to Jackson State?
I did go to Jackson State in the beginning, but I didn't graduate from there.
And your major at that time was English too?
It was mass communication.
Mass comm, really? And then you changed
and
it?
Then I changed.
When you went to?
Well, actually, like Shelia, I also majored in nursing. I went to nursing school for about a year, and after I thought that I could take a lot of stuff, but I went through the OB rotation, and I saw a baby born, and I realized that quite
that wasn't And was that, Shelia, was that how it was for you after you go like a year or so?
No. I was on scholarship, and because I was an honor student when I graduated, they thought that I could take some advanced courses, and I did pretty well in some of them except for anatomy and physiology, in which I got a C in anatomy and physiology, right? And so, I wanted to keep my scholarship, and I was afraid that
gotcha.
My heart wasn't in it.
Oh, that's interesting. But I mean, sometimes when you go to college, you may start out in something, and then after about a semester or so, you realize that, no, this is not what I want.
Right.
So, which is good. It's okay to change your mind. Now, coming back to you, Darian, English. English is not a really easy thing when it comes to writing and speaking. It wasn't until I got out of high school and somewhat college when I realized all the wrong things that I was doing and speaking and writing when it concerned English. It's sort of
we kind of stay on top of our game. Actually, one of my coworkers who reads my blog, she always says, it's kind of tricky with an English teacher because people are always pinpointing and looking at those things. So, you have to kind of try to stay up on everything. And also, since you said that, a lot of colleges now have a lot of remedial classes when kids get to college. So we really have to work on our kids while they are in school so that they don't end up in those remedial classes.
That's good, because I know I got a show called For the Love of Reading, and I knew the word was again, because I said, well, let me read this one more again, and I just threw it out there because that's me,
right?
And I know it's Ebonic, and I wasn't. Then somebody told my sister, I saw your sister's show, and she said one more again. I said, I knew what I said. I wasn't trying to say again, and I said, oh man, I guess I would have to be careful because you got people looking, and they think either I'm illiterate or I may cause someone else to stumble. But I didn't mean any harm. I was doing it just, I knew my English.
Right.
Well, y'all listen, we got to take a break, and we are going to come back and find out about Jackson Voices.
Yes. Wonderful.
We'll be right back. For more information about Jackson Voices, log on to voices.clarionledger.com or go to www.facebook.com pages Jackson Voices or call 601-750-9543. We are back with Shelia Byrd, who is Jackson Voices coordinator, and Darian Spann, who is one of the community blogger. Now, since we found out who you are, Shelia, and who you are, Darian, we are going to cruise on over and find out about Jackson Voices.
Well, the project aims to elevate voices that aren't often heard in the media, and there is a particular emphasis on African American males. And the goal was to get behind all of the negative statistics that you see in the news and look at individuals who are doing really good things in their community, in their families, and focus on that. The 10 bloggers that we recruited are writing about their community, writing about issues that are important to them. And the hope is to, raise awareness for it, get a stronger following from people within the community.
It is a new project here in Jackson?
It is new. It really got off running, I would say, in January, although the recruiting began last fall. And It will run through August. And during that time, the bloggers will have assignments. They will write editorial pieces. But what we want them to be able to do as well is to become sort of a go-to person for people in the community to know, hey, Darian is doing this Jackson Voices project. Let's tell him about what we got going on, I don't know, with our organization. And then Darian would in turn write about it. And it would be put on we have a web page. It's voices.clarionledger.com, and we also have a Facebook page. And many of the stories will also appear in the Clarion Ledger newspaper.
That's pretty good. So if someone have particular something that's going on and they want to contact Darian, they will email him.
That's right.
And let him know about that, and he can decide if he wants to write about it.
Right, right. Or they could contact us via the Facebook page.
Okay.
And we also have a Twitter account. And also on the Jackson Voices webpage, there's a place for you to leave comments. So if your comment is, we have something going on, we'd like you to come take a look at it, then you would leave your information and we would get in touch with you, or one of the bloggers would get in touch with you.
Now, you say it started in August, the recruitment. The recruiting started in August?
Well, not really. I would say October.
Okay.
We actually began the recruitment phase.
Are y'all still recruiting?
No, we're finished. We're finished. We were recruiting for 10 bloggers. We got a couple of dozen applicants, and we screened them, and we have the 10 that made the final cut. However, some of the ones who applied that were not chosen for this cycle could be in the next cycle. We'll have a second year of this.
So it's every it's for 9 months.
It's for 9 months, but we will have a phase that will begin at the end of next year, going through until August.
How is it going thus far, since this is the first time?
I think it's going extremely well. We have really good writers, and we're, as I said, we're just trying to kind of raise awareness of what we're doing. So we're working on building that following. We want people to know what we're doing.
You're right. It's new, so you certainly want followers to come out, to go to Facebook and
like us on Facebook.
Okay, like it.
Follow us on Twitter. Look for our stuff in the newspaper, because there have been some articles, there have been profiles of different writers in the newspaper, and there have also been some of their work has also been printed in the Clarion Ledger newspaper.
But Darian, tell me about your experience with Jackson Voices, since it's your first time with it, since it's new. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, first of all, it's exciting to be able to write, and also to kind of have a little celebrity status. Actually, the Clarion Ledger had been kind of profiling each of the bloggers in the newspaper, and mine came out January the 1st of this year. So it was a Sunday, and a lot of people get Sunday's paper. So I kind of got a lot of likes on Facebook, through that. So that was interesting. But working with the Jackson Voices, kind of, like I say, kind of allows me to be able to tap into that little writing that I really wanted to do, or plan to do kind of in the future. One of my articles did make the paper. I wrote a blog on why I teach, and I talked about or profiled 2 students from Jackson area who are now in Ivy League schools, colleges.
Really?
And so I kind of wanted to point out that a lot of times we hear about the negative things that happen in the school, but we never look at those kids who are doing the positive things. So
now that's a good thing. So you are bringing out the positive things.
Right.
That's right.
And that's kind of the whole idea of this, is to make sure that we kind of tap into the things, the positive things that are happening in our community.
Right, because if you are always, and we hear a lot of negative in the news. I mean, come on, that's the news, okay?
Right.
Most of the time, they are not going to focus on the positive things. Any kind of media is not going to focus on the positive as a whole, but they will focus on it just a little bit, but not much, because I guess it's their prerogative to update what's going on in the community, but you're going to hear a lot about crimes, killing, and all of that. But now you get a chance through Jackson Voices to hear about the positive things
right.
that are taking place
right.
in the community.
That's right.
And listening to Sheila say that we want to bring awareness, and in some of our sessions that we've had with some professionals in this field, they kind of talked about bringing awareness to certain things, and then it seemed like to me that they kind of stopped there. And so I began to think during some of the sessions, well, you brought this awareness to it, now are we going to try to do something to kind of go further or a step further
now,
than that?
You're right.
So now
we aware of what do we do?
What do we do? And it's kind of, I was like, well, I hope that's not what the media does, bring awareness to it and stop.
Right, no solution.
Right, no solution. So hopefully with the Jackson Voices, we can be the solutions to some of those things.
Well, how often you on Facebook and then you come out in the newspaper? Do you write every week? Do you submit an article weekly on Facebook?
Well, right now there are 10 of them, so there should be something new at least 3 times a week on our Facebook page and on our Twitter feed and on our webpage. If you go on now, for instance, we're doing a series. Well, let me go back. Earlier this month, we began a series on community heroes. People in your community that do a lot, but nobody really knows about them. And so we wanted them to focus on, obviously, African Americans, because it's Black History Month. And that went really well. Darian wrote about individuals in high school, honor students who may not come from a background that would be conducive to them being honor students. And we have someone who wrote about
well,
hold that thought, and we are going to take another break, and we will let you come back and expatiate a little bit on that student.
Yes,
we'll be right back. We are back with Shelia Byrd and Darian Spann. Darius, but before we went on break, we were letting you, getting ready to talk about the young boy from not so fortunate background.
Right.
And you can continue to expatiate a bit.
Well, just a little bit about that blog. I talked about honor students who, as Sheila said, they don't come from a background that would be conducive to ensuring that they are honor student, and they do it kind of on their own, or they do it because they want to do it and to make themselves better. And kind of one of the questions that I asked all of them, and they kind of elaborated on, was, why do you excel? And they said that they excel because a lot of them want to be better than the parents. A lot of them want to be able to move out of the community that they are in. And a lot of them said that they want to be able to make money, and live comfortably and be able to take care of their families, and not struggle. So, and it's interesting to see these students really work hard. And I said that also because during the same time, there was a segment on YouTube where this graduate in Atlanta who was the first African-American valedictorian of Booker T. Washington High School, and he gave us his speech, and he talked about overcoming obstacles. He talked about taking the accelerated classes, the AP classes, and not complaining, but doing the work and turning the work in on time, which in the end he became valedictorian. And so I let my kids listen to that in school, and we begin to talk about that, and so that they can see that if you stick with it and work hard, then positive things will happen.
That's it. Stick with it and work hard. Now that word, work hard. Now, it can, depending on who is receiving it and how they receive it, it can be like a bitter word when you say work hard. But working hard is really about being committed and being diligent.
That's it.
That's what it basically means when you look at it. That a person won't look at it as a bad connotation. Work hard, because if you say that word work hard, some people say, well, I know somebody who work hard and they are no further in life than somebody else. But that's exactly that's my perception of work hard. It's being committed to what you are doing and being diligent and being focused. So that is good that you let your students see that.
Yes. Yes, and it was very enlightening for them, and that we actually had about a 15-20 minute conversation during each of my class blocks.
Do you find yourself being somewhat of a mentor to some of your students, or maybe to someone who is not your student?
Well, I think kind of like celebrities, it kind of comes with the territory. You kind of become the mentor, you know, for students, and I try to make sure that I am doing doing positive things. For instance, and this may be very small, but I tell my students at the beginning of the year that I try to dress nice so that you can see, especially young men, young males, so they can see, you know, a positive African American male who dress nice, and they don't have to or think they have to, you know, look a certain way just to make it, you know. So
we know sometimes they are influenced by their peers to let it all hang, you know, sag and all of that, but it's okay to look decent, to really look decent, because sometimes people are judged by their appearance, which is sad. But unfortunately, in the world, or should I say the society that we live in, especially as African American, people are judged by, you know, their outer being. And that's how that's how some people get to know somebody. They go by how they dress, how they look. But the thing is, you can't judge a book by its cover, but people do that, right?
Right. I mean,
but that's good. So, Shelia, what do you see on the horizon for Jackson Voices?
Oh, quite a lot. Let's see. So we have a blog series coming up. Oh, I was telling you about our February blog series. The second one is about whether or not you think Black History Month is still relevant, and whether or not...
I know, I saw that. I saw a little portion of it. I love that. Of course, some people didn't think that it was relevant.
I was one.
Was it you? Oh my goodness! But you know, everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
Right, exactly. And this is a platform.
Which is good.
This is a platform for voices such as Darian and other minority. I should tell you that most of our bloggers are Black. We have eight Black bloggers, and we have 2 white bloggers, and we have 4 women. And do we have 4 women?
4 women.
We have 4.
4 women. Yes, 4 women, 6 men.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Is that right? That's not right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women.
5 women.
Yes.
5 women.
And 5 men.
And 5 men.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, this is Black History Month, and by the time this show airs, February will certainly be over with. But that is of interest. You said you were one of them who didn't see the relevancy in Black History Month anymore.
Right. I mean, you know, we have some really good topics on that Facebook page and on that
I'm going to have to go back and really read it.
I would encourage your viewers to go there and to like us and to follow us on Twitter and to leave comments on our webpage.
Well, give us that website. Give the viewing audience the information about how they, you know, your Facebook page and all of that.
Okay, it's voices.clarionledger.com. That's our web page. On Facebook, you can find us under Jackson Voices. And on Twitter, we're at Jackson Voices. That's our handle. So come, you know, let us know what you think about what we're doing. Let us know what's going on in your community so that we can start covering it and elevating your voice.
Do someone chooses the topic or what will be discussed?
That's great. That's great. That's a great question. That's a great question. The Maynard Institute has some general topics that they'd like them to cover. I decide some, and the bloggers decide what they want to write about. We have training sessions. Well, we call them training sessions. They're actually just workshop sessions where we bring in professionals to talk to them about writing, how to make sure that you are being fair and balanced in your pieces.
Right, that's good. Fair and balanced. Right. I wonder, you know, when you look at the media as a whole, is that really taking place? No.
So
fair and balanced.
Right, and so you know, you asked what we had going on coming up.
Well, hold on for one moment.
Certainly.
And then you can come back and tell us what you got going on, and then that would be it.
Okay.
We will be right back. For more information about Jackson Voices, log on to voices.clarionledger.com or go to www.facebook.com
pages Jackson Voices or call 601-750-9543.
We are back with Shelia Byrd and Darian Spann, and they are with the Jackson Voices. Okay, now you were talking about
what we had coming up.
Okay.
So an assignment that they'll be doing soon would be going to the legislature. It's in session, and it will be in session until sometime in May. And so we're thinking in April they'll go up, maybe follow some piece of legislation that they think could have an impact on their community and write about it.
Great.
They're also going to have to go to a city council or a supervisor's meeting and just sit in and see what type of issues they're discussing there, and if any of those issues will be relevant to their community. If so, then you write about that. Because what this is all about is empowering people as well. We want them to know how to get in touch with their state representative, their local representative. We want them to know how to have their voices heard once this is over by starting their own Twitter account, having their own Facebook page, maybe even having a YouTube channel. It's all about empowerment.
Exactly.
And one other thing that we got coming up is the men will have to write about living as an African American male, and then the women would write about
their impressions of African American.
Oh, that is so great. Well, Shelia and Darian, it has been a fantastic time supping tea with you all.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, the pleasure is certainly all mine. And once again, thanks a trio for coming out, both of you educating us about Jackson Voices. Yeah. And thank you. You are a blogger, and I am certainly going to get on Facebook and read what y'all have written.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. In the meantime, beloved, it has been real. Therefore, I bid you to take a little time out of your day and enjoy a hearty laugh. After all, a merry heart does good like a medicine. Ta-ta.
This has been a Royal Touch production.